Criterion announces its new November slate, Mad Max gets a 4K release, and Buck Rogers gets a Blu-ray collection? All this and more in the next Physical Media Report. Stay tuned. What is up, guys? I am Ken with Mid-Level Media, and I'm back here today for another Physical Media Rundown. I'm going to cover all the newest Blu-ray and 4K announcements, as well as what's coming out this week. I'm also going to give you all some deals that dropped this week. I'm going to read your Q&A questions. I'm going to go over the top 5 Blu-rays and 4Ks. If you guys have been with me for this long, you know how this show goes. We are on episode 19 right now, guys, and I cannot believe I've gotten this far with this show. It's been incredible. So let's go ahead and get started here, guys, because we had some big news drop last week. We had Criterion announce their new November slate for this year, and it's a big one, guys, because at the top of the list, we had the Netflix original Martin Scorsese film, The Irishman, getting the big Blu-ray Criterion release, and that is coming out on November the 24th. And I'm pretty sure that that is the date, or around the same date that it actually dropped on Netflix last year. So this will be like a 1-year anniversary for the film on Criterion, so that is pretty cool. We also have Ghost Dog, which is a Jim Jarmusch film, and it's called Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai, and that's going to be released on November the 17th, starring Forest Whitaker. I have not seen that film, but it looks interesting, and I do like Jim Jarmusch as a filmmaker. I love the movie Patterson with Adam Driver from a few years back. The Dead Don't Die movie that he did, it was weird, but I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. So he's one great film to me and one okay film, so I might have to check out Ghost Dog at some point. We also have Moonstruck coming out on November the 17th, which is a film starring Nicolas Cage and Cher. That seems like a very interesting pair-up. And we also have Girlfriends coming out on November the 10th. I have not heard of that film. The Essential Fellini Collection is coming out on November the 24th. Now, that is a big director's box set that's coming out. I'm not familiar with Fellini as a filmmaker, but I imagine that a lot of people are going to be excited for this. And, you know, I'm excited for maybe checking out some of his films and seeing what he's all about at some point. But next up, guys, we have the Buck Rogers of the 25th Century Collection. It is a triple feature collection coming out on November the 24th, being released by Kino Lorber. I'm not familiar with Buck Rogers. I've heard of that character before, and kind of the lunacy involving him, but I have not checked out anything Buck Rogers, so I can't really speak to that. But it is coming out on November the 24th to be purchased for all you Buck Rogers fans out there. We also have Columbia Noir #1. That collection is being released on November the 16th. So a lot of films with that. There's 6 films total in that collection. I'm not familiar with any of them, but it's a classic noir collection that for any noir fans, I imagine, it's going to be pretty cool to dig into. But the next one up, guys, is another big release. So Kino Lorber, I think they've done a couple of 4K restorations in the past, but this is one of the few that I can remember them doing. But they're doing the Mad Max, the original film starring Mel Gibson, is coming out on 4K on November the 24th, and that cover on that looks amazing. Now, I've never seen Mad Max. That's one of my film gaps. I've seen the new one. I've seen the George Miller one, The Fury Road. That's an excellent film. So I might actually pick this up and check out Mad Max for the first time in 4K. I'm not familiar with Kino's ability to do a good 4K transfer, but maybe they'll do a good job. Who knows? But that's coming out on November the 24th, so you can look forward to that. This next one up, guys, is one that I'm excited about because, like you know, I have been collecting those Paramount Presents titles. I show them off every time they come out. I've made a commitment to collect every one of those. I just like it. I like the new line. I like starting to collect for it from the beginning, so I'm going to try to keep collecting for it. We have one coming out in September, I think, and now we have one coming out in October. It is horror-based. It is horror-themed. We have The Haunting, the movie starring Liam Neeson from, I think, 1999, but that is getting the big Paramount Presents release on October the 20th, so we can get excited for that to be released around Halloween time, so I'm looking forward to watch that around the Halloween season. So I have never seen that movie before. At least I don't think I did. It's possible that I might have, but I don't remember anything about it. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I haven't seen it. So I'm excited to dig into that when it comes out. Next up, guys, is a film collection, a big 20 film collection filled with monsters and scary stuff. It is the Hammer Films collection that is being released by Mill Creek Entertainment on November the 17th. So for those of you that don't know, I do have a partnership with Mill Creek, one of the few physical media distributors that I do partner with. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get that to unbox and go over with you guys when it comes out. But yeah, that collection looks awesome. The cover on it looks awesome. I just posted about it today on my Instagram with the full list of all the films that's coming out with that collection. So you can check out that post to see the full list. But yeah, it looks like an amazing collection for sure that's coming out in November the 17th from Mill Creek Entertainment. So definitely check that out. Spree, which is another one of those straight to VOD kind of, I think it was like a horror thriller type movie starring the kid from Joe Kearney, I think's his name, the kid from Stranger Things, and that got some pretty decent reviews, and that's coming out on Blu-ray on October the 20th. So right now I know I can rent it on VOD, but I might actually just wait till it comes out on Blu-ray, and I might snatch the Blu-ray and watch it then. So yeah, Spree coming out on October the 20th from RLJE. Irresistible, which is the movie directed by Jon Stewart, starring Steve Carell and Rose Byrne, that is coming to Blu-ray from Universal on September the 1st. So that's actually not too far. That is next week. And yeah, so I'm definitely going to rent that one. Maybe see if I can Redbox it or something for cheap, because I didn't hear great things about it. But I did want to see it because I like Jon Stewart. I liked him on The Daily Show. I love Steve Carell, even though he can't seem to make a decent film lately to save his life. And Rose Byrne is a terrific comedic actress. So I was excited to check that film out, even though I didn't hear great things about it, but I don't think I'll be purchasing it. Mimic, the 3-film collection, for those of y'all that remember the Mimic. For those of y'all that remember the Mimic series, the 3-film collection of that is coming out on September the 22nd, so you guys can get looking forward to that. So, but that's all I'm pretty much seeing for the new releases that are coming out. Let's move on to the deals, guys. And you know, here at the Mid-Level Media channel, we like to save you guys some bucks. We'd like to help you guys on your collection journey. As you collect your Blu-rays, as you collect your 4Ks, as you build up your collection. We know that we don't have unlimited funds. We know we don't have all the money in the world to spend on this stuff. You got to kind of wait for the deal sometimes. Pick your spots. So I'm here to help you figure out what's on sale, figure out what you need to go for right now that you might have been holding off on. And this week, guys, I'm sorry to say, it's not looking too good. There wasn't a whole ton of deals, but I did pick out a few that you might find interesting. Constantine City of the Demons, which is a DC animated film, that is $8.43 right now on Blu-ray, which is a good deal. That's a decent deal for a DC animated film. They usually run, you know, 12 to 15 bucks. So if you've been holding off on picking that one up, if you're a DC fan, if you're a Constantine fan, definitely think about picking that up for $8.43, and you might even get the slip with it. Who knows? Which would be fantastic. But yeah, Constantine City of the Darkness, $8.43 right now. We also have Searching, which is a very underrated, underseen, not found footage, but I think the genre they were going for calling it was screen life. That kind of never took off the way I was hoping it would, because Searching is a phenomenal film. Starring John Chow, and that's a great movie. If you have not seen it, definitely pick that up for 10 bucks right now on Amazon. I might actually myself, because I don't own the movie, but yeah, that's a great deal for that because it's a fantastic film. Parasite, which is the best picture of 2019, is on sale right now on Blu-ray for 10 bucks. So if you don't own Parasite, definitely pick up Parasite. It needs to be in your collection. That is a fantastic movie. Deserving of Best Picture, and you need to, every collector needs to have that in their collection. We also have Hustlers, which is the movie starring J-Lo. That is 10 bucks as well, so that's a pretty recent release. I think it came out earlier this year on Blu-ray, so $10, not a bad price for Hustlers. So if you're interested in that, definitely pick that one up. But that does it for the deals, guys. Let's move on to the top 5 Blu-rays and the top 5 4Ks for last week. And of course, guys, for the top 5 Blu-rays, what's number 1? It's Trolls. What's number 2? It's Scoob. And I actually think that those reversed, because I think last week when we talked about it, it was Scoob that was number 1, and it was Trolls World Tour that was number 2. So Trolls has now overtaken Scoob in this race for the top Blu-rays, because nothing's coming out. But yeah, the top those are the top 2. We have Sonic the Hedgehog at number 3. We have 1917 at number 4. I'm glad to see that that's still being sold and making money, because that's such a fantastic movie. That's my personal favorite film of 2019. and the best war movie ever made. So if you haven't seen 1917, definitely pick that one up. Bad Boys for Life is number 5. And as it stands right now, Bad Boys for Life is still my number 1 movie of 2020. I haven't seen anything this year that has topped it. Hopefully maybe some new movies come out and I get to see some things that might overtake it. But as of right now, guys, I love Bad Boys for Life. It was a perfect sequel. And I'm so glad it's in the top 5 Blu-rays. Top 5 4Ks, we have John Wick Chapter 3 at number 1. I think that's been in the top 5 for a while, but I don't know if it was number 1 last week. Hobbs and Shaw is number 2. Star Wars Episode 9 is number 3. God, we can't get rid of that Episode 9. Jesus. 1917 on 4K is number 4, and Midway is on 4K for number 5. So those people are still hanging on to those war movies on 4K. They're buying up those 1917s, those Midways on 4K. I didn't like Midway as much. It was okay, but it didn't hit me like I know it did a lot of people. A lot of people really like that movie. All right, guys, let's get into what is new this week. And coming out this week, guys, I'm going to be honest, it's a very weak lineup. There is some... special editions and boutique releases, Scream Factory, Criterion, Arrow, the usual suspects that we talk about every week on this Blu-ray show. But this is going to be the last week that's pretty dry. We're going to be pretty active with the releases for the next couple of months because there's some big stuff coming out in the next few weeks that I'm super excited about. I already got a lot of things pre-ordered and lined up, and yeah, we're going to be firing on all cylinders here on the Mid-Level Media Report for the duration of September and October. It's going to be exciting months. So we have to get through one last week where it's very dry. And August just in general has been a very dry month. I haven't really grabbed anything new or anything that great in the month of August. I've gotten a couple of things, but I'm not even sure if I'm going to do a Blu-ray haul video for the month of August. That's how weak it's been. But yeah, this is the last week. We got to kind of power our way through, and then we finally get to some good stuff next week. So yeah, I'm excited about next week, but let's get through this, guys, because we got Tales from the Dark Side being released on Scream Factory this week. I've never seen Tales from the Dark Side. The cover looks really awesome. But yeah, I've never seen this one. I know I got a question last week if I was going to be purchasing. I'm not as of right now. Maybe down the line if it goes on sale or if I hear enough good things about it. But yeah, I don't know enough about the movie, and I don't need to order it right now. So next up, guys, we have The House by the Cemetery being released on 4K from Blue Underground, as well as The New York Ripper being released by Blue Underground on 4K. Now, these titles have been previously released on Blu-ray, I'm pretty sure, but they are getting the 4K transfers now. So for those of y'all that are interested in these films, if you have them on Blu-ray, they're now available in 4K for the super fans of these films. We also have Hollywoodland, which is being released by Kino Lorber, starring Ben Affleck and Adrian Brody, and I think Diane Lane. That movie came out in about 2005, 2006, somewhere in that time frame. I remember watching the movie and it being like painfully boring. But I'm interested in checking it out again because I was very young. I was like 20 when I watched that movie. Interested in checking it out again and see if it, but I don't think I'm going to purchase it. So, The Flash Season 6 is coming out tomorrow. So for all you DC Flash fans, fresh off the DC Dome that we just had Saturday, if you're excited for Flash Season 6, it is coming out tomorrow. Now, from what I could tell, what I could see, I could only find one edition of this Flash set. It's possible that it could be getting a Best Buy exclusive steelbook. I know Target does special editions all the time for these Flash sets and such, but I could only find this one Blu-ray set for the Flash Season 6. So all the Flash fans out there, get excited for Grant Gustin as the Flash because you're going to be able to pick him up tomorrow, Season 6. So that's the big one, guys. Let's get on to the next one. We got Deep Blue Sea 3, and I thought I already covered this on the week. This one's kind of weird because I feel like I covered it coming out this week last week or 2 weeks ago or something, but it showed up again, so maybe it didn't get released, maybe it got delayed or something, but it's officially coming out on Blu-ray tomorrow, Deep Blue Sea 3. So I didn't get a chance to see Deep Blue Sea 2. I remember seeing it on the Walmart shelves for months after it released. Like, I don't think anybody bought it. I do love the original. And yeah, it's a fun movie. Like, the first one is very fun. Sam Jackson and it's awesome. It's not Jaws, but it's a fun shark movie. The King of Staten Island is getting a Blu-ray release. This is another one that's one of my favorites of the year. Probably like top 3, top 4 for me of this year. I thought it was incredibly fun, engaging. heartfelt comedy starring Pete Davidson, who's honestly really surprising me now with his performances between this and Big Time Adolescence. So I absolutely recommend picking up The King of Staten Island if you haven't seen it. I already paid $20 for it to watch it on VOD, so I don't think I'm going to buy it right away, even though I did really love the film. I don't really feel like watching it again anytime soon. I'll probably wait on that one, maybe drop it in price down to $15 or something, and then I'll grab it. But next up, guys, we have a Criterion release, and it is Tony. It's a 1935 film. Never heard of this film, but it is getting a Criterion release tomorrow. We also have from the Warner Archive, Pat and Mike, and Without Love. Both of those are getting releases tomorrow as well. The Comic, which is an Arrow video release, is getting released tomorrow, as well as Black Test Car, also an Arrow release, getting released tomorrow. So that does it, guys, for the new this week. What is coming out? So as far as like my new pickups for the week, I did pick up some things. I went out thrifting last week. I did an entire Blu-ray hunting video, so I'm not going to show off what I picked up on this video, but what I am going to ask you guys to do is go check out that Blu-ray hunt video that I did last week, and check that out, see what I picked up there. So with that, I'm going to move on to the Q&A questions, the people that sent me some questions in relating to Blu-rays and 4Ks. So the first one comes from Tejo-Su03, and he asks, are they going to have a Blu-ray for True Lies or The Abyss anytime soon? So this is a theme of this show. I know I brought up True Lies. I haven't brought up The Abyss, but I know I brought up True Lies as far as Blu-ray, as far as 4K. I think at this point, if they do finally release True Lies, it's probably going to be a 4K release, but they might do the Blu-ray as well alongside with it. But kind of like maybe they did Top Gun and Days of Thunder a few months back. When they released those, they did Blu-ray releases and 4K releases as well. They might do True Lies like that, but guys, I don't know, man. It's like, don't hold your breath, because with that news about Disney not wanting to do 4Ks anymore, and I know they came back and said that wasn't true. They didn't want to do 4Ks anymore. And then with the news that, James Cameron, he's working on the Avatar sequels, and apparently he wants to be heavily involved in his 4K restorations. So with him being busy on Avatar and him wanting to be involved, it's probably going to be a while before we see True Lies or The Abyss on Blu-ray or 4K. As much as I hate to say it, unless he hands over the reins and said, look, you guys do it, but if he wants to be involved in it, I don't see it happening anytime soon. We might be having to wait 3, 4, maybe 5 years for these releases, which is ridiculous to think about. God, why doesn't True Lies have a 4K release or Blu-ray? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's one of the greatest action films, spy action films from the 90s. It absolutely needs a Blu-ray release. It's ridiculous. As far as The Abyss, I thought that The Abyss did have a Blu-ray. I might be mistaken, but I really thought it did have a Blu-ray release. Like, for some reason, I have it in my head that I saw that when I was out like thrifting at Half Price Books. I didn't buy it, but I feel like I've seen that before out in the wild on Blu-ray. So I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll do some research on that after the show. But the next question comes from Unboxing Movies with Me Unboxing, and he asked me 2 questions, but I'm going to group them together here in one. He asked, do you think Mandalorian and Snyder Cut is going to get Blu-ray releases? Yes, I think that they will. I don't think that you'll see it for a while, though. And we're almost a year removed from Mandalorian Season 1, and there's no announcement for that to be on Blu-ray. So yeah, I think that, they're in the process now of really growing Disney Plus and trying to retain that subscriber base. So I don't think it would be a smart move for Disney to just go ahead and release Mandalorian on Blu-ray, because that's their biggest drawing point right now, in my opinion, is the Mandalorian, and they know that they have that and only that really right now as far as exclusive content for people to come to Disney Plus to see. 3, 4 years down the line, you might see it. It might be sooner. I think that when you're going to have a good chance of maybe seeing The Mandalorian start popping up in Blu-ray is when you start getting those Marvel shows weaved into the rotation, when you start getting more of those Star Wars shows kind of brought in as well. When they start getting a more full lineup and more of a reason for people to tune in and subscribe to Disney Plus, that's when I think they'll pull the trigger on getting those in 4K and Blu-ray, hopefully. But as far as the Snyder Cut, I mean, that's coming out in 2021 on HBO Max. That's pretty much the same thing I'll say here. HBO Max is going to use that to boost their subscriber base. That is going to be a big draw for them. They've been promoting it ever since the launch of HBO Max as an HBO Max exclusive. So again, from when that releases in 2021, I think it's going to be at least a full year, maybe 2 years before that gets a Blu-ray released as far as physical media. And I know the news came out over the weekend. It's going to be a 4-part series on HBO Max, but when they're done with the 4 parts, they're going to put it together as like a 4-hour movie. So yeah, it would be great for them to do like a 4K release that kind of splits them up on one disc and then puts them together on another. And you're going to probably see tons of special features involving Zack Snyder and his work on the film and how all of that came together, and just all the behind the scenes information I imagine on that is going to be incredible to watch. So but yeah, it's for a while. I don't think you're going to see it in the Blu-ray physical media format for both of these shows. It's probably going to be a few years before that happens, but that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it. But moving on to the next question, guys, we have Trev's Movies, and he asks, do you think David Fincher's Zodiac will ever get a 4K release? It has to, right? You would have to think at some point they're going to do a Zodiac film in 4K, but to be honest, like, this is almost like James Cameron a little bit, because I can't recall, I'm trying to think, how many Fincher films do they have in 4K already? I don't think Seven has a 4K. I don't think Panic Room has a 4K. I don't think that Fight Club has a 4K. Gone Girl doesn't have a 4K. I don't know. Is there any, somebody answer in the comments or something and let me know. Is there any Fincher film that has a 4K? Because off the top of my head, I can't think of any of them. So that might be another case where they're kind of, Fincher, maybe he wants to be involved and he's kind of dragging his feet on getting this stuff together. But that's really interesting. It's something I haven't thought about until you asked me this question. But yeah, not only Zodiac doesn't have a 4K, I don't know if any of David Fincher films have a 4K. Benjamin Button, I know, has a Criterion release, but it's not a 4K. Yeah, I'm racking my brain. I can't think, but that's a great question. I think at some point, like maybe, it's the same thing with Tarantino. None of his films, except for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, are in 4K as well. So I think at some point, maybe we'll get some kind of collection, like a David Fincher collection of all his films in 4K. Same for Tarantino. I don't know. That would be interesting for sure. But yeah, thanks guys for asking those questions. Those are some great questions, and thank you again for tuning into the show. But before I get off here, I'm going to ask you guys, please head on over to the Ultra HD Geek channel tonight for my twice weekly live stream with Alex over there, the Levels of Geek Live podcast. We are doing episode 27 tonight. We have Movie Files, another prominent YouTuber is going to be on there tonight, and we are going to be discussing the hot topic of the weekend, the DC Fandom event. So we're going to be breaking down all the newest trailers, all the news that came out of that event on that show tonight. And I would love for you guys to head on over and check that out tonight and join us in our live chat, discuss it with us, talk about your feelings on DC Fandom. It's going to be an awesome event. I'm super excited for it. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Ultra HD Geek channel. Come on over and check us out. But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the Physical Media Report, episode 19. Thank you guys for joining me. It's going to be the last week as far as it being dry out there. Next week, we're going to be getting into some more interesting stuff as more things start coming out in the months of September and October, and I'm super excited for it. But thank you for bearing with me this week, guys, on this episode. Go ahead, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel for more great content like this. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Like this video as well. Comment down below anything you're interested in picking up, and we'll see you next time.